Guys, how are you? This is Dave with DNA Designs, and this morning I wanted to make a little video for you to show you vinyl installation and what you're getting yourself into when you buy something like this. So a couple things that you're going to need obviously is your decal, okay, tape, squeegee, scissors, pencil, tape measure, and then a straight edge of some sort. So it don't have to be a yardstick, but just you know, something that's nice and straight. So what you're going to do first, you're going to get this, it's going to come out of, you know, it's going to be packaged in a tube, so it's going to look like that. So what you're going to do is unravel it and let it sit for a while. You know, maybe take your straight edge or something and lay it on it for a while, a couple hours or, you know, a day or just overnight. Let it just kind of get acclimated to the temperature, to the room, all that good stuff. And then once you've done that and it's pretty straight, go ahead and take your squeegee, and you can use a credit card, whatever you would like to use, that's fine. You can purchase this from our store, but just go ahead and start in the middle and squeegee out. And we want to make sure that there's good adhesion from the tape to the vinyl. So we'll go ahead and squeegee that out. Make sure that looks good. Now, I've already drawn a line on here, but you'll notice that you have X's on either side, okay? And so what those tell you is that is the center point of the graphic, and it makes it really easy when you go ahead and lay your straight edge across it. You can just line it up right there with the middle point of the X, draw your line, and you are good to go. So what I've done first is I went ahead and I cleaned the wall, and basically I just took some just a damp cloth and I wiped this down. This is a satin finished wall, so it will stick. Now if you have flat paints and stuff like that, it's not going to work. You are going to be sent a test swatch with your graphic, so that way you can stick it on the wall to make sure that you're going to have good adhesion. So what I did is I went ahead and took my tape measure and I measured 30 inches from the ceiling, alright? And I marked it and I drew just a faint line across here, okay? Now I'm not really worried about the center point of my wall for this example, but if you were, you would just find where you want it, your center point, draw a center line, and then make yourself some marks on here. So it's pretty easy to find the center part of the graphic. So, now that we've got our lines here, and we've got our lines here, it's going to make it really easy for us to line things up. So, go ahead and take yourself a piece of tape, not that big, stick it right on the corner of each side at the top. So that's what we're looking at right there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line our marks up here. So you can see we got our line all the way through, and then this makes it easy too. If you say, oh, I think I'm a little high on this side, you can just pull it up and just go ahead and make your adjustments as needed. Stick it back there, pull that up easy. And I like the blue painter's tape because it doesn't stick to the wall as hard, so it makes it easy to line this kind of stuff up. Now, if you're using a big graphic or you're doing overlays, you're going to probably want a helper. And those kind of overlays that we sell, you know, they're subjective, so I don't put alignment marks other than to line it up so that you can get it straight on the wall, because all that stuff, like I said, is subjective, so you can put one word here and one word there, and you know, you can be creative with it. So now we're going to create our center hinge, so we're going to take our tape and we're going to just go ahead and run it right down the center of the graphic. Now, if you have big lettering and you want to go in between the letters even though it's not center, that's okay to do, and it actually will make it a little bit easier on you. But if you don't, that'll work just fine. And so this is called the center hinge method. And what this is going to do is it's going to hold everything straight and allow us to do what we got to do. I'm going to peel this tape back, just set it aside, and we're going to go ahead and pull our tape and vinyl away from the backing paper. Now it should stick. If it doesn't, you can always just push it back over, you know, like this. You use your finger, get it to stick, And you see how I'm pulling away? I'm have it kind of coming down at a 45-degree angle, and you don't want to pull straight out on it, but just go nice and slow. And you can see it. My hand's kind of in the way there, but you can see it's coming off with it. It's good. Just go slow. No sense in rushing any of this. And make sure not to touch the vinyl, just your tape. Alright, now when you get closer to the hinge, you can start straightening things up. And there you are. You can use this tape here. Sometimes you can just take it and just stick it like that. Hold that for you. Now that we have our hinge here, everything's held in place, we're good to go. We're just going to go ahead and cut this piece of vinyl off here. We'll get our squeegee. We'll go ahead and separate this up here. And, alright, we're going to just start from the inside, work our way out. And you can also start in the middle, do the up and down motion, however you feel more comfortable, but typically from the inside out, from the center out, is good to go. So, we've got our one side stuck here. And again, just work it good with the squeegee on textured walls. I like using my finger, to be honest with you, because it'll actually push it down in there. And you see we have these points, and this is going to make it easier when we're trying to pull our tape off. Alright, so we can go ahead and pull our center hinge off, and what I like to do is this almost the same way you're pulling the backing tape off. You just want to kind of pull it at an angle and keep it real tight here, because you don't want to pull this up, pull any bubbles into it. It can happen, but if you're using like a easy release tape, like the painter's tape, you shouldn't have any issues at all. So now we can go ahead and get rid of all of our tape. Go ahead and flop this over, and we're going to go ahead and just peel. So kind of the same thing, nice 45-degree angle. Take it slow. Don't touch the vinyl. Like I said, if you're working with a big graphic, get an extra set of hands. There you go. So gently, and you can pull and feel, and it'll have even tension along the top and the bottom. And again, you can come inside out. You can, you can do this method here, just as long as you're keeping everything straight. And again, like I said, I like to take my finger and again, don't throw your, bent that one, but don't throw your backing paper away just quite yet, because we may have another use for it. So what we can do, we can start pulling this off and getting it away from our vinyl. Now you see these pointed edges, you don't really want to go at the pointed edge, you kind of want to go, like I said, just a 45, and you can see here that this is wanting to stick to the tape and not the wall. So you'll just have to, be gentle with it, be easy with it. Depending on what graphic you get. You just have to work it to get it to stick, especially these fine points. That X can come off, that's fine, that's just our alignment mark, we don't need that. If you're putting something over it, you'd have an alignment mark on it anyways. And I wanted to use something that had points on it like this to show you just kind of like the work that's involved with putting it on. I mean, it's not crazy, but it definitely takes some work. Getting that on there. So after spending probably about 5 minutes just, you know, going nice and slow with it, we got it on the wall. It's looking pretty good here. What I like to do is just go around and check any of this thin stuff, make sure it's adhered well. And like I said, I like to use my finger on it just because it kind of pushes it down in the ridges and grooves. And you make sure that you are good to go. And what you can do also is take that backing paper I was telling you about. If you don't want to scratch up your wall, you can use that again. Kind of go over it some more. Like I said, I typically just like using my fingers. I think that works the best. And just kind of roll it over the letters. Just make sure that they're stuck well. If you get bubbles in any of them, what you can do is you can take like a little X-Acto knife or a little pin and just poke it, and then just kind of use your finger to spread it out. But that's basically it. That's how to install wall vinyl. Now obviously all decals are not created equal. This was a little harder. You have some smaller text here. You have these points. But you know, if you pull the paper down correctly, keep an eye on it, and just take your time, you can have good results.